Aloha guys, this is just some of my hooks that I have. These are mostly mustads in here. I also have a good selection of just about every other type of hook there is, from Izuos down to, geez, Tankichis and Owners. But of everything, I like my J hooks and my circle hooks. Aloha YouTubers, Scuba Chris here. The main way that you can release fish that ensures its highest survival rate is where it was hooked. Now, if you use this type of hook, circle hook, all right, use a circle hook, it encourages a safer release. That means that when this hook goes into the fish, it's not tearing it up like some hooks will. Circle hooks here have a tendency to go in the mouth, slide, and lock into the corners. Now, when that happens, you're locking into the bone, you're not tearing up flesh. That's one of the reasons why circle hooks are one of the main hooks for tournaments. Or it's actually the main hook for catch and release tournaments. Now, it doesn't have to be offset, but look at it. That's an offset hook, right? That's going to, actually for me, I like offset circle hooks. I like actually offset any type of hook because it's going to encourage a better hookup. So when you get your fish, my show model here, Charlie the tuna. So when the fish is going by, see what happens? The hook goes into the mouth and it'll slide either back and forth, but it'll get locked up in the jaws. Now that's the way the hooks, these type of hooks operate. It will get locked in the corner of the jaw. Okay, so what are the benefits of circle hooks? Circle hooks, like I said, it will go into the fish's jaw, into the mouth, and it'll slide from one side to the other until the barb here locks into the joint. Now, when that happens, that's a solid hookup. It's not tearing up the meat and causing the fish to bleed out. It is hooking up into the jaw joints. Now, when it comes time, you're either going to keep the fish, to sell, to bring home for dinner, give away to friends and family, or you're going to release it. Now, obviously, if you're going to release it, you want it to be in a condition where it can survive. Now, if you use a type of hooks, like say a J hook, where it may catch top or bottom and it's going to rip it up, that fish is going to bleed out. These type of hooks are approved for tournament usage, which means that the fish has a better chance of survival. And especially when you go for larger fish, like you're trolling for marlin, live baiting for marlin, any type of billfish, going from the shoreline for giant trevally, which is GT, that increases the chances of that fish's survival. So in a lot of IFGA tournaments, they require the usage of circle hooks. Like I said, circle hooks are great because they're self-setting. They get into the mouth, they roll from one end to the other, and they'll get locked into the jaw joint. Now, this means that it's going to be self-setting, so you don't have to go there with your rod tip, go, and try to set that hook. Because a lot of times when you do that, you're damaging the fish. Unless if you're going to bring home to eat, then it's okay. But these type of hooks are self-setting. Say you're in a fishing tournament and you have line class restrictions. Because you're using circle hooks, that means that a lot of that leader line won't make contact with the teeth. Some will, but the majority won't, because most of the time the hook could be outside like this, but sometimes on the larger species it'll be in. But because there's less chance of that leader line making contact with the hook, that means less serration, less chance of the line breaking, and you can get away with those lighter leader lines for your regulations. Now, the fact that these hooks are made to lock into the joints here means that the fish will have a greater chance of survival. And that's what you want. You want, if you're going to catch a fish you don't need and you release it, you want that fish to survive. So using circle hooks will help that. I also found that if you pinch that barb in, no problem. You just have to keep constant pressure on the line, because if you do go ahead and pinch the barb in, it's easier to take the hook out. Now, that means you have to keep constant pressure on the fish, not a lot of pressure, but constant pressure, and that pressure will keep the hook in. Like, I go fishing off military bases, and some bases now require you to use barbless hooks because it's safer for the fish. So sometimes, like, say if I catch a shark or a big barracuda, I don't want to mess with those teeth. If I put slack on the line, it generally releases itself when it's thrashing around. So pinching in the barb also helps. All right, for me, circle hooks are proven winners. Every time when I've got a hook up using one of these hooks, never a problem. I was able to land the fish. Now, there's other things that will come into play, like maybe a shark will come by, maybe you're on a shallow reef system and your main line may get scratched against the coral. But let's just say that your chances are higher of landing that fish if you use a circle hook. And this is from years of experience. A lot of other people, friends of mine that I go out with that have been fishing way longer than me, will tell you the same thing. Circle hooks are good for that. It's good if you're going for IFGA records because you can safely release your fish. For catch and release, it's safer for the fish. There's a lot of good reasons to use this type of hook, all right? Basically put, it works, all right? You have a good solid hookup. A lot of times if the tip goes through the fish, that's actually okay, because then you can get a pair of pliers, pinch it in, it's easier to pull it back out. That means you can get the fish back into the water faster. All right, thanks a lot, guys.